Hey, this is part one in our Getting Starting series with zInspector. It's ideal for new employees getting started how to use zInspector, or if you just want a refresher, primarily focused on using the mobile app out in the field, but an overview of all the basics and everything you need to go out and actually do inspections. Part two of this will be more for admin users and actually doing more configuration and template modification, things like that on your account. All right, so to get started with zInspector, first thing to keep in mind, there's two parts, both the website and the mobile app. They're designed to work together. Now, what you're seeing up here is I have my mobile app on the right-hand side of the screen that's connected with a cable to my computer. So I'm able to show both of them here at the same time. I'd encourage you to do that as well. So if you want to learn zInspector, get familiar with the basics, have the website up there on your computer, take pictures around your home or office, and that's going to just help you kind of connect everything together and see how it works. All right, so just a brief here on the website. Timeline, that is your inspection history. All of your photos, your videos, your 360 images, they're all going to be sortable, searchable in here throughout everything. You can search through millions of pictures, type in any partial string on a property name or anything like that, and it's going to come up with here everything that matches. There are various options on this. If you click there, that'll enlarge the image. If you click here, that'll open up the complete inspection report, or you can download the raw images. There's lots of different options on how to output reports, but just when you click on a report, okay, you'll see that complete inspection report. We've got various features like span down here where you can choose how to attach pictures, and over here under share, you can export your reports in various ways. Okay, then all of our reports are built in together that they're going to have both from HTML links or from the PDF links. That's all going to be part of all those links are going to work within the report. Okay, so timeline, that is your inspection history. Now, a few things here on how to interpret timeline. The yellow icons are your actual report. So that's all of your, when you click on it, you would see kind of that actual inspection report with all the pictures and so forth as well. Now, when you're looking at this, it may be easier to say, you know what, I just want to see my report icons. So I can unclick that, and that's gonna say it says my media. It's gonna turn off my media. Or I can also unclick these other icons and just show media, and that's going to be all that information. And then you can do various filters on this. So I could say, hey, filter, show me all of my landscaping pictures, for example, and it's going to come and find all that kind of across the board from any of your various inspections, and it's going to search for that kind of across the board. Now, this is kind of a test account, so you're not seeing the best landscaping pictures, but you kind of get the idea there as well. Okay, now if you hit clear, it's going to clear all your filters. Compare, that's for doing mainly your move in, move out comparison, but any type of comparison. Then here you can download an Excel file. So that's all of your inspection history into one download. Now here for upload, if you have pictures you want to manually upload, for the most part, you're going to take your pictures with the zInspector app, but that's here as well. And then you can also upload files. So if you're just going to use zInspector for a normal file storage system, all those will show up here in timeline as well and be searchable. All right, now just kind of quickly through some of the other tabs on the website. Tenants. This is where primarily if you're going to be inviting tenants to do their own move-in inspections, periodic inspections, if you want them remotely signing your inspections, a bunch of videos specific on that. It's actually really easy to use. Great dashboard here where you can kind of clearly search on all this. You've got a lot of options in here. Other videos there specifically going to be targeted at that though. Okay, now properties here. This is all of the properties on your account. It really is more to think of it as a unit list. It's also searchable here. And within properties, though, I have what's called areas. So I'm going to just pick this one here, view edit areas. And that's the areas within your properties. And so within areas, you have what's called area descriptions here as well. Now, this particular feature, you won't be able to modify unless you're an admin user on your account. But within areas, we have what are called details. So if I search for bedroom, for example, those are all the details within a bedroom. It's designed to be dynamic so your admin users can change that at any time, and it's going to update and synchronize everything real time. And then of course we have templates. Now we're going to focus on this in our more admin setup video where we'll cover through this, but your default template should already be there for move in, move out, annual inspections, or other types of inspections there as well. You can make that template list be anything you want. That's going to be covered in part 2 of our admin series. All right, now the next thing to look at here is under settings, profile settings. The default setup is that I'm going to get reports in my email. If you're an admin user on your account, you could say global auto reporting, and that's going to send you that. Now, maybe you have an assistant or a supervisor, and if you want to add in them here as well, then that person would get copies of all of your reports in their email all automatically. But if you don't do anything, you'll get a PDF, the default setup in your email, as well as the HTML link. Okay, so that's a kind of a good overview of the website. Now let's go ahead and go on to the mobile app and actually going to show you how to do your inspection. Okay, so I'm going to be there on the right. And so if you see where it says property unit at the top, so that's your property list. And if I tap here under property unit, I got all my properties here. Now your admin user can use a feature called user groups to kind of control which properties you have access to. There's also syncing with other software, like other popular software like Rentec Direct or Rent Manager or whatever that may be. And so they can sync with others with a website and show up here with the app. Now you can also do this if I tap property list, and if the property's now not here, I can hit new at the bottom. I could create a property, and even if you're going to be syncing with other software, it's no problem. You can create a property here. It's going to upload later to the website. You later take it on for management, add it into your other software. It's going to sync up together. So no problem if you need to create a property manually. Just hit new down there at the bottom. Okay, so you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, one way there selected, and then when I've got that top value chosen there, all the now choices below it will now work within 1, 2, 3, one way. Okay, so for example, if I hit timeline history, okay, that is all the inspection history right there for 1, 2, 3, one way. Same thing, I can click right here and see the example inspection report that was completed for that property. Okay, so again, timeline history, and here I just hit the back arrow button to keep backing up, and I'm going to get back onto this main screen. So you got timeline history there on the app, which is actually then pulling that data in from the website. Okay, so to actually now do inspections, what you're going to do is click where it says inspect. Okay, so if I tap inspect, that's all the list of available templates on your account. That list can change. This is how my account is. I've got some test ones on here, but you can have different ones depending on what your account actually is set up. But the basics should be there already for you. All right, so here I'm going to tap move out. So move in, move out inspections are some of our most kind of common ones. Now, you're going to get this warning here. I'm going to hit cancel at the second, but I'm going to come back to what that is. Okay, so the way to look at this screen is anything that's underlined is clickable. So if you see where it says tenants at the top, if your account is synced with other software, the tenant names would be right there. Or I could simply just go and type in that tenant, or I could leave it blank, just depending on how you do your inspections, whether you add that tenant contact data or not. All right, now in my example here, I've got all these other things which are called instructions. So instructions can show up, give you tips on how to fill this in. That could even be a video or text or anything like that. So things like that there aren't going to show up in your final report, but they're helping you actually do the inspection. So you want to read all of those carefully to make sure you fill out how that template works. Now, the one I'm going to be modifying here or doing this inspection is how it's set up by default. So, your actual templates may be a little bit different depending on how your admin user has configured it. All right. Now, again, anything that's underlined is clickable. Okay, so all those different things that are there, they're all clickable, and certain actions will happen depending on whether I click it or not. Now, if you see the little red star on all those are on each one of my areas. Again, for that property, it means I have not finished that particular area if I see that little red star. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tap where it says kitchen, and that's going to expand. And you remember we talked about details before. That's the details for a kitchen. Your company can change that if you like a different list, but this is basically how it's going to be set up by default. All right, now the default setup is N is for brand new. You just installed something brand new, you just painted the walls, you just installed new flooring, anything like that, you just rehabbed the unit, that would be N for new. The S is for satisfactory. So that could be acceptable, habitable. It may depend on what your actual language is in your locale or how your company set it up. Now the D is for damage. So maybe it's something that you may consider to be a tenant damage item. All right, now I've started here a move out inspection. So let's go through here with more likely how an actual inspection is going to work. So typically what you're going to do is hit the check mark above the S, and I'm going to hit that there and mark everything as satisfactory all in one click. And now I'm going to go and start to make changes based on what's really going on. So for example, let's say these cabinets are really old. The tenant didn't damage them. They just are what they are. I want to kind of communicate that to the owner that there's a problem, not a tenant damage item. I could hold that S and I could make it be something like F for fair, P for poor, or something like that as well. Now, if you are an admin user, you're going to modify that template. Again, you can make those codes be whatever you want. You could also make them be 2-digit codes. Some people like it to say okay, the letters okay. Some of our customers in Australia like to make it say SC for satisfactory and clean, or things like that. So you can easily make those 2-digit codes anywhere on here as well. All right, now, let's say there was a problem with the counter. Maybe I'm seeing a big crack on the counter. I'm going to mark things as D for damage. Now, the default setup is if I mark something as damage, I'm forced to take a comment and forced to take a picture. So I'm going to tap that and say, crack in the counter, and then I'm going to go ahead and tap the camera button and take a picture. Okay. Now, and that's basically how I'm going to do that. And now we're going to repeat some of these. Now, let's say there was an issue with the flooring. Okay, now, and I'm going to do something about it. The idea is I could hit the exclamation point and say flooring required. And how these are what we call actions. And so action basically means you need to do something. And the idea is that condition and action really are two different things. Like if you had a small crack on the counter, you may mark it as damage, but you're not going to do anything about it. It is what it is. You're just acknowledging that it's there. Or similarly, you probably have moved in, or just installed brand new flooring. And so the flooring was brand new, and the vendor didn't install the trim right, or didn't install the baseboard right, or the flooring was popping up, or the seams weren't coming together right, or whatever that may have been. It could have brand new flooring and an action, or something could be poor, and it's a poor condition, it's owner responsibility, and its action is time to do something about it. So the general kind of approach to this is that condition and action are really two different things. And you want to, whenever you're doing your inspections, you want to look at it from both of those perspectives. All right, that said, at a move out, most of your items kind of end up being both a damage item and an action. Likely a tenant damage item, and you're going to do something about it. And so that ends up being what most of your items will probably end up being at a move out, but it doesn't have to be, and they certainly won't all be that way. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and tap the camera button here for flooring. Now, what's really powerful about zInspector is that when I'm looking at my camera screen, it's not very fancy. I'm just looking here on my computer desk here. All right, but I can actually put my comments right here. So if you see at the bottom of the screen where it says comments, I can actually hit that and say big scratch, okay, right there in that, and then go ahead and take my pictures right here, okay. Now, as you get good, you start doing more and more right from the camera screen. So what happens here? Do you see where it says flooring baseboard? I can actually swipe left and right here. So I can swipe right to the next item, light fixture, take a picture, swipe to the next item. Okay, microwave, I'm going to mark that as not present, hit that little stop sign there. Okay, swipe to the next item. Other, not going to worry about that, not present. Okay, oven, good, looks good, take a picture. Okay, let's say the range looks good, take a picture. Okay, and you get the idea, you might be doing more and more right here. Now, maybe I see an issue with the refrigerator, I can mark it as damaged. I'm going to say repairs required. I'm going to hit the comments button there. I'm going to hit my microphone, broken shelf, and go ahead and take my picture. Now, the screen, it supports rotation. Okay, I can take different pictures on every rotation. I can take videos here as well, and all my audio is recording here by default as well. I tap the camera button there, or the video button there, to end that video as well. Okay, so swiping left and right goes up and down that list, but if I tap it, I see all of the details within an area, and I can simply tap that, jump to that item, and take a picture, and then swipe up and down from there. Okay, now the same thing with areas. If you see where it says kitchen, okay, I can swipe left and right, or I can tap it and jump. Okay, and that's the basics of how you're going to be using your camera right there. Now, there's other buttons here. You can do tap to focus on here. You got 2-finger zoom on there. If you have multi-lenses, you can see I'm on an iPhone 11, so I got a zoom lens and a wide angle lens, right? So I can swap between those. The yellow lens is your default lens, and so if you hold on a lens, that'll change your default. So if you end up on your selfie accidentally and you need to get off of that, just kind of watch that. That's kind of how to do that right there. All right. Now, you can get to this screen in various spots, but if you see the gallery button, I'm put at the bottom left right there, right when I'm taking pictures, bottom right down there at the bottom, or in the upper right, kind of 2 photos on top of each other. That's all the recent pictures on your device, okay? So this is going to automatically purge out after a few days, but the idea is you've got a few days to go in here and hit the little pencil. So I can hit the pencil button and I can edit it. I can add comments, or I can delete it. If I delete it, it's going to delete it from the website as well. Or I can hit the little felt tip marker down there. So if I hit the felt tip marker, I could just simply scribble on the screen. Or if I hit the square at the bottom, hit the white color palette, I can highlight something. I'm going to hit the arrows and hit the yellow color palette and draw some arrows there and highlight it. I can add text there as well and do something like that there as well, and I can drag and drop that text around. Okay, now I'm gonna hit the save button in the lower right, and that basically now added that. We're doing all the little subtleties. We're making a copy of that picture. You're actually drawing on the copy, and we're uploading the copy to the website. All right, so here I'm going to go back. I'm right back here to my camera screen. I've hit the back arrow again. I'm right back into my main inspection report. Okay, so that's the basics of how you're going to do your main inspections for your move-in and move-outs and so forth. Here I'm going to go through living room again and just kind of show you a couple more examples. Now, one thing that's really powerful here is if I look at this living room, then you can see on the flooring, it says C:(big scratch D for damage. So what's happening, right? If I look there near at the top of the screen, it's telling me the last move-in, when that was done by, who did it, okay? And that data there is saying that there was a big scratch. That's the compare comment right there, and it was marked as damage. I could turn that off if I didn't want to, right? And you can see, turn that on and off, and that's going to toggle it right here for reference. Now, when you're on the website, you can generate a report and put it all side by side on a single PDF. We do it like this, works well on a small screen like here on a mobile device. Okay, so not only can you see the old comments here, I'm going to hold that flooring baseboard camera button there. So if I hold that button, then I can actually see my old picture from my last inspection. There's the big scratch from the living room flooring when the move-in was done. And that could have been done even if you had the tenants do a move-in inspection or whatever that was. That's just going to automatically pull that up and make it right there for reference. Okay, now if I'm going to hit proceed in the bottom right here, I'm going to get an error. It says living room is not completed. Okay, so what it's telling me, right, I need to get a green check mark on every area. So I need to go tap living room and mark that satisfactory, right, and go through everything, mark that satisfactory. And again, if I mark something as damaged, you can see I lost my green check mark there on dining room. I got to finish that item in order to get everything uploaded and completed. Now, once in a while, you'll end up with an area or something like that, maybe a crawl space or a roof or something like that really isn't applicable in a move-in or move-out inspection. So you can actually hold an area, and we do allow you to skip it. So and you could proceed that way as well. The idea is that you've then completed the inspector has made a determination on every single area that they need to do it or not. All right. Now, if you get stuck somewhere, like you manage something is damaged and you already, you still need to take your pictures or so forth, you can't submit to the inspections, there are various ways to do overrides and workarounds. You can contact support if you need some help. But what we're trying to get you to do is force you right when you're doing that inspection. If you mark something as damaged, add the comment, take a picture, and be done with it right at that moment. Okay, now I've left this here for bedroom 1, no description, bedroom 2, no description. And this is how it's going to come over by default. So if your account is syncing from other, property accounting software, that's how it's going to be set up, something like that. And also it's going to normally have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and so forth. And what we want you to do is enter in your descriptions whenever there are 2 or more areas of the same type. So the most common examples are your bedrooms and bathrooms. It could be if you had 2 kitchens or anything like that on the property as well. Now I can do that by holding where it says bedroom 1, and I could get my edit area list, or also here near the top of the condition table in that header, I can click edit areas there, and that gives me the condition table, the area list here as well. All right, now here I'm going to go and put in my bedroom labels, and so I'm going to just say left and right, okay? And typically you're going to use something like that: north, south, front, back, middle, master, hallway, anything like that to make it unique, okay? And then that's going to set that up. Now also, you can hold a row here and change the ordering around, okay? And that's going to change that. I can do all of that here without an internet connection, okay? And then I'm going to hit proceed and save it. And again, I can do all these steps here without an internet connection. It's going to synchronize up to later to the website. And then those area descriptions, your layouts, everything associated with that property is going to be like that all automatically for the future. Okay, now I'm going to tap in bedroom again and mark that all satisfactory and say, yep, that is all here satisfactory here as well. Okay, now before I forget, I want to go into kitchen. And I don't know if you recall, but I marked here a couple of items as marked as not present down there. You can see those down below. And so let's say, you see where there's trash compactor. Let's say I don't have that trash compactor, this property. Now, if you never have trash compactors, you may just go onto the website and just get rid of it, so it's not even on your list. But if you have that on your list and you got to train this particular property, you just tap the X right there, mark it not present, and then that's going to be automatically remembered in the future. So whenever that property is inspected again, then you can go ahead and you'll already have that there for reference. All right, now also when I tap in the comment screen there, so I can simply type a comment. I already showed you talk to text. You can also hit the little comment dialog box there. That's going to pull up various comments, and you could look up things there that might match and type that in there, and you simply tap that. It'll add that entire line. We call those smart comments. We give you a bunch of them for reference, but you can make that list be anything you want. All right, so that is the basics of how you do inspections. Now, before I submit this inspection, I want to show you a couple of settings here. So if you see the 0 at the very top of the screen, that is what we call our queue. So you may not have a good internet connection. So I'm going to go in here and take pictures here kind of rapidly. And so I've got a good internet connection here. So they're going to upload here fairly fast. But you get the kind of idea if you see that kind of 1, 2. And so they're kind of still uploading. I could literally have 1,000 items in there. And then they're going to slowly upload in the background there while they can. The key thing is as they're uploading in the background, it's not going to slow down anything that I need to do so I can go out and do my inspections. All right, now I'm going to hit the settings gear button in the upper right hand corner. Now the default setup that does mess up new users right there says videos on Wi-Fi only. And so you want to kind of keep this in mind. So if you've got things that are stuck in your queue right there and not uploading, good chance you took a video and it's set to only upload on Wi-Fi. So if and the videos really aren't that big. So if you have, a decent mobile data plan at all, then you're going to want to just go here and uncheck that. Now, if you're using your own personal device or you just don't want to use really, or very limited mobile data, really don't want to pay for that, then we actually recommend you go in here and set both of those items. Go ahead and check both of those. Now, it's also kind of a trick if you're working in areas that are fairly remote and your internet connection is not the best, then you might want to turn on photos on Wi-Fi only there as well. Most of the battery life can come from having a weak internet connection and really trying to upload it and force that upload. So if you don't want to do that, then just turn that photos on Wi-Fi on. But if you've got like a 4G connection or whatever, you can just go and use your mobile data, and it's all going to upload and not going to slow you down. All right, now the two little arrows up there, that's kind of your sync arrows. And the difference between queue and syncing, the syncing is going to sync your property list and your contact data and all the templates onto your account. You can do an update there, and that's got all your settings. That 0 is your actual inspection data, photos, videos, reports, and all that that's got to upload. All right, so that's kind of the basics, how to do my inspections. Of course, I got a comment box down there, and I can add in comments here as well. Your admin may add in other special questions you may need to answer. It all just depends on your situation. But again, you can make that template be whatever you want and add here these additional questions. Okay, so on here, I'm going to hit proceed. And now at the very bottom of the screen, if I just try and hit submit right here, I'm going to get an error and do that. And sure enough, okay, can't complete until the inspector signature is provided. So I got to go all the way down to the bottom, and that forces me to preview my entire inspection and hit an inspector signature, and I'm going to sign it. Now the tenant signature box there by default is optional. If there are tenants there with you, you can have them sign it. You can also go onto the website later and send it for remote signature. Now the difference between submit and submit/email is submit is going to automatically send the report to your email based on all the standard rules of your company. So you never need to email a report within your company. You just go ahead and hit submit. The submit email is primarily if you wanted to also send a copy to the tenants. So you can do that there as well. But here I'm just going to click submit, and it's going to go there. And once that queue gets to 0210, I'm going to have a report here in my email. It can take about a minute or so to get an actual report. Okay, so inspect, that is where you fill out your inspection templates. Now, I'm going to show you this here as well. Let's say a little time goes by, I start a new inspection. Let's say I have a drive-by inspection. I started it, and I hit the back button, and I pause it. Now, I'm going to go all the way back to the home screen there. Now, you see where it says inspect. So if I see where it's inspect, and I'll reload my browser there, and you can look here on the website. I've got an icon there. I can hover over that here on the there. It says I've started an inspection, but I haven't finished it, and that's what this inspect over here it means. I need to go to that mobile app and actually finish my inspection. You could have many of them in progress. We don't want you to. Try and get your inspections finished. The ideas are not sitting around. You walk out of the property, try and be done with it. That's your goal. Walk out of the property, be done, get your inspections submitted. You can still do some edits later on the website if you want, but if particularly if you're an admin user, you may need to be that in order to do some tweaks. But the idea is to walk out of property and be done. And even though that's may not how you're doing things initially right now, that should be your long-term goal. Okay, now when I tap inspect, then all my in-progress inspections are going to be right here. And I hit the little green clipboard there to resume my inspection, or maybe I started it on accident. I can hit the trash can there, and I could delete it. Okay, now same type of thing here. If I hit property unit, so I'm going to go ahead and pick a property. So let's say one way. Again, okay, now I hit inspect. I see all the templates available on my account, and it's showing me I've already started one for drive-by, so you don't want to start that again. So I either tap it, I resume that inspection for that property, or I delete it, okay? And if you delete it here, it'll send instructions to the website and to delete that property, or delete that inspection. All right, so that is the basics of how you're going to do your inspections. I'll just kind of show you this here as well, and because it's very an underestimated feature how useful it can be. It's called Quick Pictures. So if I tap Quick Pictures, all right, now what that is just to go in here, and let's say I'm going to post a notice on the door. I can make a comment like 3-day, okay, and I can take a picture, and I hit back. Would like a report? Yes. I now have a user stamp, timestamp, GPS stamp report that I posted a notice on the door, routed throughout the rules of my company that I did that. GPS stamp, timestamp, I've got all that there. Okay, you can also use quick pictures. It's really nice if you just want to hit quick pictures. Maybe you want to take some marketing pictures. Really easy way to just kind of go in here. You can take pictures. Remember, we have a very high quality camera, so that works well. And finally, whenever you're seeing the camera screen, there's a little world button there. So if you're using any of these 360 cameras that we support, you can simply tap that world button and then it'll automatically trigger the camera. Now we've got another video just on how to use the 360 camera, but we do encourage all of you to get one camera. It really speeds things up. Just don't use their software at all. If you have one of those cameras and you're doing it for like a move in or move out, you're just going to go through all those world buttons all the way down there on the right, and you just go click, 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 and you've got all those 360 panoramics all embedded in your reports. Okay, so that is the basics of how to use your mobile app. There's a bunch more videos later on how to use your inspection data once you want to kick your data out into reports, and whether you want to kick out lists of action items or generate security deposit documentation. So there's a lot of subtleties there as well, and a lot of features that you can kind of add in over time, but that's plenty to get you started out doing inspections and get going. Let us know if we can help.